detective. You may take it in the library, if you would please, sir. Pardon me, Willi excused himself, shaking his half-dead legs. Limping down the long, wide hallway, he arrived at a glass-enclosed room that looked more like a fish tank than a library. It was Gunther calling from the Alex. Is she as beautiful as on screen? Sexy as naughty Lola? What are you calling about, Gunther? Sorry to interrupt, Chief, but another floater's turned up. A girl this time, out in Spandau, under the citadel. Willi's throat constricted as he toyed with the black receiver. All right then, I'm on my way. Yes, sir, I let them know. Oh, and Gunther? Yes, sir? She is. Every goddamn inch of her. Even in man's trousers. I knew it. Thanks a million, Chief. Returning the earpiece to the hook, Willi stood there. Bodies and rivers were hardly news in the chaos passing for Berlin these days. But he'd never heard of one surfacing in Old Spandau, that picture postcard village, far on the outskirts of town. A girl, no less. Back in the living room, they made a big fuss about his having to depart so abruptly. Off to catch another fiend? Sylvie leaped to escort him, slipping an arm through his own. Quite a star you have become, huh, Kraus? Dietrich scrutinized him as she might a fine racehorse. Even in America they know of the great detective who nabbed the monster child-eater of Berlin. You ought to come to Hollywood. I bet they make a picture about you. I don't think they could find anyone quite boring enough to play me. He forced a little smile. At this, Fritz laughed much too loudly, the long dueling scar across his cheek turning bright red. Willi took the new speedway out to Spandau. A race course in summer, the Avus was otherwise open to vehicular traffic and usually empty, one of the best-kept secrets in Berlin. The forest pines cast baleful darkness as he picked up velocity. How Germans loved their forests, he thought, shifting into fourth. The deeper and darker, the better. Personally, he preferred the beach, hard, bright sunshine, open space. This road, though, was truly superb. A white streak through the wilderness. He was driving far faster than he should, he knew, after so much champagne. Yet the adrenaline rush was too exhilarating to forgo. The silver BMW sports coupe was the only luxury he allowed himself. He didn't collect art, didn't travel, didn't keep women. He was boring. The 320's 6 cylinders soared to 100 kilometers per hour. Just boring enough to have become the most famous police inspector in Germany. The machine took the road as if it were barely moving at 110, leaving the forest pines a dim blur. What an ass Fritz could be when he was drunk. Willi floored it and rocketed past 120, seeming to hover over the highway. Willi would trust him with his life, though. In half an hour he was slowing to a crawl through the medieval streets of Old Spandau, one of the few parts of Berlin with real provenance. Narrow roads lined with half-timbered houses led toward the 15th century citadel, whose stalwart walls still rose where the river Spree joined the Havel. As he parked, he could see the sun beginning to set over the gray water. Down by the riverbank, he spotted several uniformed officers in their leather-strapped greatcoats and shiny black-visored helmets. Inspector, they said, parting, instantly recognizing him. Even in the street these days, people recognized him, asking for his autograph, taking their photo with them. The great Kinderfresser catcher. A mixture of awe and envy enveloped him as the cops grouped around. A lot of guys in the department didn't care for his fame. He didn't care for it either, frankly. What he cared for was being a detective, enforcing the law. Without the law, the weak were defenseless. Be prepared for a mess, an officer named Schmidt addressed him. Willi'd seen more than his share of corpses in the homicide commission of Kripo, Berlin's Kriminalpolizei. Mutilated corpses, decapitated corpses, cooked and stuffed into sausages corpses. But this time, his heart froze. Even in a city such as Weimar Berlin, maddened by years of war.